Good morning and welcome back to Planet Althistory. Today we are going to discuss what if Bulgaria won the Second Balkan War. Since I mentioned the Second Balkan War, we should also talk about the First Balkan War and also explain the regional context in there. Let's just talk about the word Balkans. It already contains a high explosivity, because as we all know, the Balkans are the powder keg of Europe, and this has a long tradition. The Balkans have had various people who settled there, from Slavic people, Latin people, Turkic people, Greek people, and, well, also people who are Albanians and their respective origins. Some Germans came there too, if we count Romania as Balkans, as well as Luxembourgers, Polish people, and so on and so forth. Religiously, the Balkans are also very mixed. There are Catholics, there are Orthodox people, there are a few Protestants, if we also count Hungary as Balkans, but I would rather not count them as Balkans, except if we take Romania as part of it. And then, of course, Muslims that came mostly with the Ottoman Empire. And to make matters even more complicated, some population partially converted to one religion or another, and that created an even bigger divide. During the 18th and 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was on a decline, and finally, just before World War I, the Ottoman Empire had to fight against Bulgaria, Serbia, Greece, and Montenegro in the First Balkan War. The Ottomans lost, and it seemed that the countries who fought against the Ottomans were able to achieve their goals. By winning, right? No, hell no. The treaties that were signed were just peace treaties between the so-called Balkan League and the Ottoman Empire. Those treaties didn't really organize the separation of the territories won by the Balkan War, and what happened after the First Balkan War? Yes, the Second Balkan War happened, and why was that? Well, mostly because the Bulgarians, they were not happy about their spoil of the war. According to an original document, it was said that Bulgaria should get the majority of Macedonia, but what happened was that Macedonia was split between Greece and Serbia. Bulgaria also wanted to have control until Thessaloniki, and this of course put them at odds with their temporary allies. Greece and Serbia kept their army mobilized, and Bulgaria was unfortunate because most of the heavy fighting during the Balkan War happened in Thrace. During the Second Balkan War, Romania decided to intervene because they were promised Silistria for their neutrality, and the Ottomans too intervened and took most of the territory that modern Turkey owns in Europe. But what if all of that changed? What if Bulgaria won the Second Balkan War? Let's just say that during the Second Balkan War things would go differently. Bulgaria could have agreed on giving up Silistria as promised to Romania, or Russia could push Romania and the Ottomans to not intervene in that war. However, Bulgaria giving up on Silistria may be more likely, as they would rather win Macedonia in that case. With that said, the Bulgarians would be able to win against the Greek army, and there would be no Romania coming in and marching towards Sofia. Moreover, Bulgaria may be able to also convince Albania to join in, and Albania could be tempted to win Kosovo or even Western Macedonia to create Greater Albania. Seeing how Bulgaria beats the Greeks, the Albanians would fight the Serbs, and after pushing the Greeks and getting Bulgarian reinforcements, the Serbs too would lose, and the Second Balkan War would be won by Bulgaria and Albania. Austria-Hungary would be happy with the defeat of Serbia, and Russia would do everything they could to get Bulgaria as their ally, while Romania, as promised, would keep their neutrality because they got Silistria. World War I would still happen because the Second Balkan War would not butterfly the way, and also not an alternative ending of that same war. But this time, the sides they would be mixed up a little bit. The Ottomans were still boiling with anger about Bulgaria, and Greece too would be boiling with anger against not only Bulgaria but also Albania. The Bulgarians and Albanians would, at the outbreak of World War I, be neutral at first and not really support Austria-Hungary against Serbia. They already got what they needed. When Russia would side with the Entente, Bulgaria too would probably side with them instead of siding with the Central Powers in that timeline. World War I would look like this. The German Empire, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, Greece, against France, UK, Belgium, Luxembourg, Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, Albania, Japan, the US, Italy, etc. Germany as in OTL would quickly beat the Russians, while Austria-Hungary would beat down on Serbia, Albania and Bulgaria later on, together with the Greeks and the Ottomans. There would be some changes in the Balkans, but the World War I would probably still be lost by the Central Powers, only that this time the Greeks were on the losing side as well. Post-World War I order in Europe would be different, with a bigger Bulgaria, bigger Albania, a smaller Yugoslavia and a very minuscule Greece. Crete would probably be taken by the Entente. I think maybe Britain would take it, as well as some other strategic positions, while Turkey would still get the civil war. In this scenario, it would be Bulgaria who would try to take lands of the former Ottoman Empire instead of Greece. And in some funny way, Greece and Turkey could actually have very good relations in this timeline, seeing Bulgaria as their common enemy. Bulgaria and Albania would be very good allies, enjoy very good relations, but the smaller Yugoslavia would still be at odds with Albania and Bulgaria in particular. We may still see a population transfer between Greece and Turkey, but on a more peaceful term. Also, the Bulgarians in Turkey would probably get genocided away, and the Turks in Bulgaria too would have a very hard time to survive. I predict a more ethnically homogeneous Bulgaria with some Greeks and some Serb minorities. The Italian invasion of Albania could lead to an earlier World War II, or it could be something similar as Japan's invasion of China. When Italy invades, Bulgaria would support their ally and declare war on Italy, with the smaller Yugoslavia would support Italy and reclaim all of Yugoslav lands. Greece and Turkey would also be part of the Axis, and they would be promised lands in Albania and Bulgaria if they joined the Axis powers. Germany would give Italy some token support and still do their own thing with Poland. Later on the wars could get merged because the Axis could be bigger, with Yugoslavia, Greece, Turkey being part of it. Albania and Bulgaria would lose. Albania would give up many territories to their neighbors and become a mere Italian puppet state, while Bulgaria may be partially annexed and partially administered by beat Yugoslavia, and Turkey would regain some lands in Europe. Operation Barbarossa would happen as planned initially and not be delayed because of the invasion of Yugoslavia and Greece, and Turkey would be motivated to jointly invade the USSR. Greece and Yugoslavia would send some support, and this time around, Operation Barbarossa could become a huge problem for the Soviets. The Germans, they would not waste a lot of resources in the Balkans, not lose many men, and actually have a lot of support from there. I would say that it is very possible for them to damage the Soviets in such a way that the war could take a year or two longer. The US would still intervene, but Britain would have a hard time adjusting to the war, losing to Greek, Italian and Turks in the Mediterranean, and also the Middle East partially. winning the war could even be an option and on the table for the Axis powers, if everything would go very well and if the Allies were incredibly unlucky. However, I don't think that this would be the case, so most of Europe would be liberated by the Allies up until Poland, Czechoslovakia and Romania. The Soviets would be able to get their lands back and perhaps even get parts of Turkey. And in this alternate World War II, Turkey would be the last Axis power to fall instead of Japan, and they may actually fall to the Soviets, giving us a communist Turkey. Bulgaria and Albania would win again considerable amount of territories, and if Romania joined the Axis, Silesia would be once more in Bulgarian hands. Greece, Turkey and Serbia, Yugoslavia, they would be the biggest loser in this timeline, and the Soviet too would have lost more than in OTL, despite being one of the victory powers. Would there even be a Cold War in that timeline? Because if the Soviets lost so many men, so many resources, would they even be able to compete against the rest of the world? Not to mention that they would almost have no satellite states anymore. And that's where we leave it for now.
That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, support me also on Patreon, and join my forum, forum.planetalthistory.ga. Until next time on Planet Alt History.